5 News at Noon starts now.
Well, changes are coming to a busy Siloam Springs intersection. Right now at noon, what drivers need to know. Plus, a massive wildfire is spreading fast in California, burning thousands of acres in Napa County. Well, thank you for joining us for your 5 News at Noon. I'm Morgan Wrigley here with Danny Cassidy.
Hello.
It's a great day
Yes.
for the news that you have to share with us. We've been looking forward to this cool down, and it's finally here.
Yes, it's finally here. You probably walked out the door this morning and you could just feel how much more comfortable it is. And for those in the River Valley especially, you're feeling quite a bit of raindrops on your head. Hopefully you have the umbrella and raincoat handy because you're probably going to need it not only the rest of today, but really on and off for the rest of this week. Here's a live look in Fort Smith. You can see a pretty wet pavement there along Rogers Avenue, 67 degrees. That dew point has risen a little bit just with the added moisture, but again, temperatures are staying below 70 for much of the River Valley and in the lower 70s for northwest Arkansas. So compared to this time yesterday, and as Morgan mentioned, yeah, it's a lot cooler. Almost 25 degrees cooler today than at this point yesterday. Northwest Arkansas, I should say, about 10 to 15 degrees cooler. Here's that shower and storm activity again, pretty much nearly widespread across the River Valley. Not as much in northwest Arkansas, but we're starting to see it fill in from the west. We can zoom in here. You can see a lot of those yellows and oranges starting to fill up. That moderate to heavy rain continuing across the region. Then again for northwest Arkansas, very light right now, but it will start to pick up a little bit later today. As off to the west, we do have more of that coming in. Again, more of the heavy activity is going to be in the River Valley, but we will see some of that lighter to maybe moderate stuff coming for northwest Arkansas. Let's talk more about the rain timing later today as well as later this week coming up in your full forecast. Morgan.
Thanks, Danny. The Ridge Runner Cafe at Devil's Den State Park is back open today. It temporarily shut down after last month's double murder on one of the park's hiking trails. The suspect in the case, Andrew McGann, is charged with 2 counts of capital murder in the deaths of Clinton and Kristen Brink. Most of the trails at the park are back open. The main trail where police say the killings happened is still closed, though, and the Butterfield Trail is also closed, but that one is due to storm damage. Well, in Crawford County, police say a man admitted to killing his husband with screwdrivers. They say this happened in the woods last Wednesday. They say Gregory Witt told them that during an argument over drugs, he choked and stabbed his husband, Kevin Witt. He's charged with 1 count of first-degree murder. Well, changes are coming to how Arkansas prison inmates get their mail. Starting mid-September, all incoming mail will be sent to a digital processing center in Florida where it will be scanned and uploaded for electronic viewing. The Department of Corrections says inmates will see their mail on tablets. Items like legal correspondence, books, magazines, and other packages will still be sent directly to the prison. The DOC says this change is part of an effort to keep contraband out of Arkansas prisons. Happening today, drivers in Siloam Springs will soon see some changes on the road. The Arkansas Department of Transportation plans to change the intersection of Highway 16 and Kenwood Street from a 2-way stop to a 4-way stop. The city says discussions have been in the works for years. Initial plans called for a traffic light, but after a study by RDOT, they determined a 4-way stop would be the best way to improve safety there. And here's a heads up about some new Arkansas state laws that will impact you on the roads. One act doubles fines for moving traffic violations in a mobile work zone. Another puts green flashing lights on all RDOT construction and maintenance vehicles. And a third adds more information about work zone safety in the Arkansas driver's manual and test. In national news, President Trump's crackdown on crime is escalating in Washington, D.C., with some National Guard members now carrying their service weapons. As Natalie Brand reports, it comes as the president signs a new crime-related executive order this morning.
I don't think that's going to happen.
President Trump is expanding his anti-crime initiative in Washington, D.C., signing an executive order aimed at ending cashless bail, a policy where the court doesn't require some defendants to pay to get out of jail before trial.
That was when the big crime in this country started.
The order threatens federal funding for D.C. and asks the Attorney General to look into other jurisdictions with cashless bail in place.
We're ending it, but we're starting by ending it in D.C., and that we have the right to do through federalization.
This latest move comes as some National Guard troops deployed in the nation's capital are now armed. A spokesman saying the use of force would be solely in response to an imminent threat of death or serious bodily harm. D.C. community organizers protested this weekend.
Let D.C. run D.C. The president does not need to get involved in this.
Democratic leaders from across the country are sounding the alarm over the president's talk of expanding the operation to other cities, including Chicago.
The president does not have the constitutional or legal authority to federalize the National Guard here in Illinois.
President Trump has also threatened to send national troops to Baltimore and is clashing on social media with Maryland Governor Wes Moore, a military veteran himself.
As someone who actually deployed overseas and served my country in combat, to ask these men and women to do a job that they're not trained for is just deeply disrespectful.
Several Republican governors are supporting the Trump administration effort, with 6 states sending their National Guard troops to D.C. Natalie Brand, CBS News, the White House.
Well, new developments at this hour in an immigration case capturing headlines. Kilmar Abrego Garcia is in ICE custody after he showed up for an appointment at a Baltimore field office. ICE has threatened to deport the longtime Maryland resident to Uganda. The Salvadorian national declined a deal to be sent to Costa Rica in exchange for pleading guilty to federal smuggling charges. Abrego Garcia became known after he was deported to El Salvador in March, despite a federal order to keep him out of his home country for safety reasons. He was brought back to the States in June, but the government still pursuing deportation because of his alleged involvement in smuggling. His case has become a symbol of the administration's immigration crackdown.
Because we did the hearings, we saw that they had no charge against him. From the very beginning, someone from DOJ, when they apprehended him, they knew it was a mistake. He had no criminal record. He had no charges in Tennessee. He was still trying to tag something with him, and he still is released in Tennessee. What is going on here? Why do they want to target this innocent man over and over again and put his family through hell?
A crowd of roughly 200 people showed up in Baltimore today to protest immigration policies. And in California, a wildfire is spreading fast in wine country. The Picket Fire is the largest to hit that part of the state this year, and it's already burned nearly 7,000 acres, only 11% contained. Evacuations alerts are in place for parts of Napa County, including a popular tourist town. Carter Evans is in Napa Valley.
An aerial assault over Northern California's Napa County as the Picket Fire rages on near Calistoga. Fueled by hot and dry conditions, the flames turned the sky into this eerie scene. On Sunday, Napa County officials declared a local state of emergency.
It's steep, rugged, inaccessible terrain.
But fire crews say they've made good progress, even downgrading some evacuation orders.
And our top priority is to start to bring that normalcy back.
One of the challenges in this firefight is potential drone interference. In January, a drone collided with a firefighting aircraft during the Palisades fire in LA.
As soon as there's a drone seen, all the planes have to leave. When that drone leaves, they're not automatically right back where they were.
So it takes them off of the fire at a critical time, too.
Yes, absolutely. Absolutely.
Napa County is no stranger to devastating fires.
I've been up here 30-something years, so I've seen quite a bit, but you just get used to it now.
In 2020, the Glass Fire burned more than 67,000 acres and destroyed more than 1,500 structures.
Napa County is much more prepared today than it was 5 years ago.
And more extreme weather in the West. In Oregon, the flat fires burned more than 22,000 acres.
Oh my God! Something just picked up and blew into our RV!
In Nevada, a massive dust storm ripped through the Burning Man Festival, destroying some camps in the makeshift Black Rock City.
Now, we talked about the Glass Fire, which burned through this area about 5 years ago, and that burned a lot of the heavy vegetation out, but it has had 5 years to regrow, and it's tinder dry out here right now. But what has really helped a lot were the bulldozer lines that they cut back then. They've been able to use those fire breaks to help stop the forward progression of this fire. Carter Evans, CBS News, Napa, California.
This week marks 20 years since Hurricane Katrina devastated the Gulf Coast. The storm made landfall in New Orleans on August 29, 2005. Nearly 1,400 people died, most of them in New Orleans, and some communities are still struggling to recover. The town of Dauphin Island has rebuilt some beaches, but on a barrier island, constant maintenance is critical. To preserve what is left, it would take millions of dollars from several grant sources. One piece of the puzzle comes from FEMA, a grant for $250,000. One expert says this would create a specialized disaster mitigation plan.
It included investments in state planning and capacity building and building codes, such as $2 million in Alabama to support statewide building code implementation costs. It was going to protect 3,100 homes and businesses, removing them from the FEMA designated floodplain and reducing risk in that community.
FEMA canceled the program in April, calling it wasteful and ineffective, saying it resulted in a lack of concrete results. Dauphin Island's mayor says he hasn't heard any word about next steps, but he says the town is in limbo right now. Millions are turning